is the Revisionary Podcast with your host, Juan Carlos. The Revisionary Podcast.
Hi everyone, it's your old pal Satan here to tell you about the new show debuting here on the Chatter Network. The Silver Screams Podcast is a show where three horror movie buffs watch horror movies and then talk about them. Join them as they ingest, analyze, and regurgitate all of the tastiest bits of spooky cinematography. You can catch the show every Friday wherever you get your favorite podcasts. So grab a seat in the dungeon and just make sure you let the Wolfman out at some point or else he's gonna tinkle on my new Persian rug. Stay spooky, Scream Team.
This is the Revisionary Podcast. Stories of all we would have done in the past.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Revisionary Podcast. And as always, I'm your host, Juan Carlos. So just a few quick notes just to catch you up on what's been going on in my life and what's been going on my end. For those of you guys who follow me on social media, you know that I had been competing in a competition. It was a local version of the Comedy Voice. A bunch of comics applied. I think it was like 66 or 70 comics or something like that. I made it all the way to the finals, and I didn't finish the job well. So I want to say congratulations to the winner. He was phenomenal. And, you know, I was a little disappointed in myself. I feel like I could have done better there at the end, but I'm also at the same time very proud of myself. You know, I made it to the finals, and that is something that, you know, no one can take away from me, and I'm really glad of how that played out. So if you guys were wondering, that's on that. Let's see, what else? I just got back from a wonderful weekend retreat. It was nice to be out on the ocean for a few days. It's not something that I traditionally do because I'm not really a big beach person, but you know, sometimes it is nice to get away from the hustle and the grind and the day-to-day life, you know? So that's been pretty cool. And what's that? Oh, yeah, right, I forgot to tell you. We have a surprise guest this week. So here's the thing. I often tell you guys that this is a two-person show. And despite all that, some of you seem to not actually believe me. So I'm going to prove it to you that this is real. And this week, we actually have Producer Phil as our guest. Yes, the man is real. I promise you he was real. Some of you doubted me, but now you will get to hear from him directly. And you'll see that he is a real person who actually exists, and he's the reason that I sound good. So I'm excited to get him on the line. He's been jazzed about hopping on. And you know what? To be honest with you, I'm a little interested in seeing how this goes because he literally knows the show just as well as I do. In fact, maybe even better. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know who else knows the Revisionary Podcast as well. So without further ado, Revisionaries, I would like to introduce you to Producer Phil. Let's see if we can get him on the line.
Hello?
Hey, how are you doing, Phil?
Hey, Juan Carlos, how's it going?
Look, honestly, I'm doing well, and not gonna lie, it's so nice to finally have you on a microphone.
I know, right?
I really feel like the Revisionaries have been listening to this podcast for almost a year now, and they're like, there's no Producer Phil, he's making him up.
Yeah, that's just Juan Carlos's alter ego.
Right. No, look, I promise you guys, he's real. Look, he's here. He's here. You can hear him.
I'm here. I'm a real boy.
Yeah, he's not made out of wood or nothing. By the way, what was that guy's name? Geppetto? Is that what it is?
Yeah. Well, that's the guy that made him, right?
Yeah, something like that. I don't know why I just thought of that, but I was just like, man, that was such a hard name to pronounce as a kid. I was like, why would you torture me by naming someone Geppetto? Also, I was still trying to learn English, so that was especially confusing. That was really mean to whoever wrote that.
I could see that being a tough one.
Geppetto. Is Geppetto even, where's that name from? I want to say it's Italian, but I don't want to be presumptuous.
Right, that'd be my guess, but I have no idea.
Someone once told me in high school, and I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I'm going to say this, and hopefully it'll be okay. Someone told me that generally you can tell if a name's Italian if it ends in a vowel.
Okay.
I don't think that always works, but I have found that a lot of Italian last names do end in vowels, so that's kind of a cool way to be able to tell.
It's a good guide.
Yeah, right. It's not an always rule, but it's a sometimes rule.
All right. Geppetto passes that test. So.
Right.
So we're going with Italian.
That's where we're going.
Visionaries, write in if it's not Italian.
Right. If someone knows otherwise, please let us know. We're just ignorant, not hateful. So, what have you been up to?
I've been working on this really cool podcast called the Revisionary Podcast.
Yeah. So, why don't you tell the Revisionaries a little bit about you, like who you are as a person?
All right, I've been working on podcasts for a while now. I'm trying to do quick math, maybe about 4 or 5 years, 4 years, I think. I got into it doing stand-up comedy tapings, and then from there I just kind of branched out. I went to school for some audio stuff, so I kind of decided to branch into podcasts because I love listening to podcasts. I love working with audio. Perfect marriage.
That's fair.
Yeah, I had started out because I got a camera because I was really into photography in high school. Mm-hmm. And then in college, I got really into audio. So then I was like, why not bring the two together? And started doing video that way.
No, that makes absolute complete sense to me. So, okay, so now you've taken this whole thing. Now you have this podcasting empire that you're going on. And what are your other interests? So what, like, because I do feel like I don't want people to think that I'm the only one who works on this project, which is why I really want them to get to know you. So, like, what are your other interests? What makes you tick?
Oh, let's see. I like to play music. I play guitar and bass a bit.
Okay.
So I'm really into that. Really into hockey. You and I have talked about hockey a good amount before.
Yeah, we have. My team's taking the Stanley Cup this year, but you don't have to talk about that.
Avs are winning it, baby.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and just like hanging out with friends like anyone else.
Yeah, I think those are all totally normal hobbies for a person to have.
Yeah, I'm not a complete weirdo.
No, look, I don't think you're a weirdo. I honestly think that, like, I will say this. Look, guys, you guys don't have to deal with me, right? You guys get to the cheery, smiley, fun person behind the microphone. Phil gets the stressed, anxious, hey, we have a deadline. What do I need? How do we make this work? Kind of person. And he deals with it with such grace. So I know that this man is a saint. I'm just saying. I
have a great time working with you.
See, he's just saying that because we're recording this. Yeah. I'm just kidding.
For the record.
No, so it's been a good time. It's funny because I tell you guys all the time. The way Phil and I even started working on this, I remember like the first time I was like, hey man, I called him on the phone. I was like, hey, we should chat. And he was like super cool about it, super zen. And I was just like, listen, this is what I'm working on. This is what I'm trying to do. This is the goal. He was like, okay. I was like, wait, you don't have any? He goes, nope, I got it. And he nails it the first time out. He knew exactly what to do.
Yeah, well, you laid it out nicely for me. It was real easy.
See? All right, so why don't we go ahead and jump right into this, Phil? The stage is yours. Go ahead. Tell us your story.
All right, so gonna give you the story of a drunken night at college.
All right, let's do it.
I went to Fredonia State University in Fredonia, New York. It's known for its partying. It's one of those schools where there's just not a lot out there besides partying. Mm-hmm. So that's what everyone does. We got a reputation for that. Most notably for the end of the year party known as Fred Fest. Fred Fest is pretty wild. It's a all weekend, all day, all of the weekend too. Just constant partying. I think one year I went to a party, it was Kegs and Eggs.
Oh, yeah.
9 a.m.
I've heard of those.
Oh, yeah. So Fred Fest is a huge deal. People go wild. People go out of their minds there. We had some over the top stuff happen when I was there. Some notable things I remember where one year this woman caught her hair on fire trying to do a flaming shot.
What? How?
I don't know. I feel like you completely missed your mouth somehow.
Right?
Just kind of like whoop, right on the head.
I want to understand the physics behind that, because your hair, unless your hair is like super, super long, it's nowhere near your mouth.
Right. And if it is near your mouth, move it before you do a flaming shot.
Very practical, Phil.
Yeah. Hindsight's 2020. I hope that helps her wherever she is now.
Was she a redhead? Sorry. The joke was there.
For a glorious minute there. Yeah. And then another crazy thing was, let's see, I went to Fredonia from 2008 to 2012. That was prime YOLO era.
Yep.
If you guys remember YOLO. So I remember reading in the police blotter afterwards, this one woman got really drunk, had a blood alcohol content of 0.3. Not 0.03, 0.3, like 30% of her blood was alcohol. And as they're loading her into the ambulance, she just raised a fist and yelled YOLO.
She's just out here living her best life.
Yeah, definitely.
Jesus. A vampire could have gotten drunk off that.
Seriously, yeah. I don't know how she was alive, but it was a lot of fun reading those police blotters after.
What? Hold on.
Anyway.
Why were you reading police blotters?
Oh, the weekend after Fred Fest, or the week after Fred Fest, reading the police blotters. That's where the best stories are.
Is this like your version of the Super Bowl commercials?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
You know what? I'm not gonna knock it because I've never tried it. That's cool. All right, man. Live your life.
Yeah. Read College Town police blotters. There's some interesting stuff in there.
Okay.
But anyway, so that's all like the not sanctioned off-campus stuff. On campus, the school will blow their budget on a major, or not that major because it's a state school, but
Right.
a well-known musician to play a festival for the students. And as Fredonia was a party school, and I was also a fan of him, I determined my junior year that I needed to get Andrew WK to play Fredonia.
Who's that?
For Fred Fest. Andrew WK is the party god. All his songs are about partying.
What?
You've probably heard "Party Hard" at some point, whether on a commercial or. I'm sending it to you afterwards.
Okay.
Everyone go listen to it if you don't know "Party Hard." It's the ultimate party anthem.
Okay.
Yeah. So Andrew WK is just all about partying, and that's most of what you need to know about him. The other thing is that he performs wearing all white, a white t-shirt, white jeans, white sneakers.
All right. I'm going to stop you right here, Phil. First, you're mentioning some remote guy in a remote town that no one's ever heard of, and now you're telling me he's wearing all white. Were you in a cult? I just want to clarify right now. Did you guys wear pointy hats? I'm just trying to understand the situation here. I want to know what's going on, Phil.
No, it's Andrew WK. You got to look it up. And
all right.
He often will have blood on his shirt as part of his look. Yeah, his first album cover is him with just a big bloody nose. But anyway, so because he's the party god, Fredonia Fred Fest is the party time of the year. was determined to make them work. So that Halloween, I went as Andrew WK with AWK for Fred Fest written on my t-shirt. So it was Halloween weekend. Started out at a house party. Was having a good time, just vibing, playing some beer pong. Things are going well.
Sure.
Yeah. And after a little bit, we decided to move it down to the bar for some live music. Meet up with a couple of buddies there. We're just hanging out. I think there was maybe a bit more beer pong at the bar. Just having a good time. And as I get drunker and drunker, all of a sudden I find that everyone has already gone home.
What?
I was looking around the bar and like I only had like one friend left there, and I was like, oh well.
Oh,
yes.
You mean your friends went home, not everyone at the bar?
Yeah. All my friends. I looked around and the bar had disappeared.
Right.
The
I was
bar
imagining
never
like
existed.
I was imagining like that final scene of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. All of a sudden you sobered up and you're like, "Where is everybody?"
You're like, oh, I guess I'm closing up.
Yeah. Sorry, I work here now. Go on.
But yeah, so I noticed that like pretty much all my friends had left, so decided to go home. The thing is the bars in Fredonia are all in the center of town, and I live about 2 miles at that point from there, so I had a little bit of a walk ahead of me, and I decided I'm not going to take the main street there. I'm going to go and I'm going to walk along the creek that runs through town. And that was an interesting choice. The only other time I'd walked home from the bar along the creek is chasing after a friend on what was known in our friend group as tequila night.
Okay.
Yeah, we had a friend get super wasted on tequila and try and jump in the creek.
Oh, no.
So So I pulled him up by his belt and half carried him home.
So, hold on. So, it's late at night, you're drunk, and you decide to walk along a creek, right? Am I understanding this correctly?
Yep.
Have you never seen a scary movie, Phil?
Oh, just wonderful choices I'm making left and right.
Okay, fair enough. Go on.
Luckily, nothing bad really happens along the creek. In fact, I have some good fortune. As I was walking along, I noticed leaned up against a tree a full set of Honda hubcaps.
Okay.
And I decide I need them.
Oh, cool.
So I picked them up and I put them in the backpack. All I had in the backpack was my pre-mixed drink of, I believe, vodka and Dr. Pepper. Or no, not Dr. Pepper. It was the store brand from, there's a regional
Dr.
grocery
Pip?
store. Yeah, not even. This one was called Dr. Bob.
Dr. Bob sounds like the chiropractor of the Dr. Pepper
Right?
family. Like, yeah, he's a doctor, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't like fully go through medical school,
Right.
but
Right. He doesn't have an MD or a DO or anything like that. Hell, he's not even a dentist. He's a doctor.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, so I didn't really have much in my backpack, but the hubcaps still wouldn't fit. So I kind of zipped up the sides, but the top was sticking out. So anyone walking around would see this Andrew WK imposter with hubcaps sticking out of a backpack.
How many hubcaps did you take?
4.
All
Full set.
Hold on, and you were able to fit like 4 hubcaps in your backpack. How big was your backpack?
It was a good sized backpack. That's what I used to like carry my behemoth laptop at the time. Remember this was like 2010, 2011. Laptops were huge.
And what
Like,
was your
physically.
plan? Oh,
I
you get
hadn't
to that?
thought that far.
Hold on. All right. You know what? I'm going to let you finish. We're going to dive into this. There's a lot of... We need to... Okay. Go on.
Oh, there's lots of questions, I'm sure. But finally, I come up from along the creek back onto the main road as I'm getting nearer towards my apartment. And all of a sudden, I see flashing blue and red lights behind me.
Okay.
I'm getting pulled over while walking, which has never happened to me before nor since.
Okay.
But so I get pulled over. Immediately, the cop gets out, looks at me, gets back in his car, and then another car shows up within a second. And I'm like, why do you need backup? That's freaking me out. Both cops get out. And as they get out, another cop car is pulling up. So now there's 3 cop cars. Mm-hmm. As the cops are coming up to me, remember, I'm dressed as Andrew WK, whose signature look is blood pouring down his face and all over his shirt. I see the 2 cops that first arrived get their hands right on their pistols, like freaked out. And all of a sudden, one of them just starts screaming, "Why are you covered in blood?" I'm confounded because it's Halloween. Like,
right.
Most people are covered in blood on Halloween. At least a fair amount. You should be expecting that. Luckily, the third cop to arrive is actually a lot more chill. She reads the situation, sees I'm just some goofball drunk walking home, starts doing all these bits with me. And let's see, she wanted to know what I was doing with the hubcaps. And like we just discussed, I had no plan. I just saw hubcaps. They had to go in my backpack for some reason. But she's like, "Oh, you going to pull a Flava Flav on me here? You going to put that around your neck?"
Yeah.
And when they were trying to question how old I was, they're like, "What year were you born?" And in my mind, I thought, I should say like 89 would have made me 21 then. So I'm like, think 1989. And I also think 21. So I'm in my drunken brain, I mix the two and I say 1921. So she's like, "Wow, you're looking pretty good for your age. Wow, that's impressive. You look very youthful and vibrant for an 80s and 90-year-old guy."
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So luckily for me, with the third officer there, she kind of diffused the situation with all of that. And they did search me and find my Dr. Bob and vodka. And unfortunately, that had to be poured down the drain, which that also freaked me out. I thought they were like testing me. They were like, "Here, dump this out." It's like, "Is that littering?" Like, "No, just dump it out." It's like, "Is this entrapment?"
You know what? That would never have crossed my mind in that situation, but oh my gosh. Okay, go on.
Who knows? But yeah, so luckily for me, they just have me dump it out and they sent me along home with just a warning. And that was my wild night of getting pulled over by the cops.
So, okay, hold on. So first off, no one accused you of stealing the hubcaps?
They definitely accused me. Yeah, I forgot that part. They assumed that they were stolen, and they took down my name and address so that they could come arrest me when they find out who they belong to, which never happened because I didn't steal them. They were out on the side of the road. Someone didn't want them.
I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. When you said that you just found them, I kind of just assumed that someone else had stolen them and just dumped them real quick. That was my thought. I was like, all right, this guy's carrying stolen merchandise.
They were not nice hubcaps. They were just like the plastic snap-on things. Like, if someone took their time to steal these, they are not a criminal mastermind. That's for sure.
So, looking back on it, what do you think you were thinking about taking the hub? Like, what did you do with them? Like, what I don't know. Explain that to me. Make it make sense.
Juan Carlos, I wish I could. I wish I could make it make any sense. I just saw the hubcaps. I wanted them. I think maybe I was thinking of hanging them up as a decoration, because that's another thing you do in Fredonia. You find trash and hang it up.
Sure.
Because, yeah, everyone's apartments were decorated from the local Salvation Army. And I just decided the hubcaps were a good fit for my aesthetic, I guess.
Okay, cool. So, okay. So and now I gotta ask, why'd you walk by the creek? Like, was it faster?
It was actually a long way to go. So again, there was not great reasoning behind any of these things I was doing. It probably took me an extra like 20 minutes of walking to get back. It was maybe 2 miles if I went the main way, and it probably ended up being about 2.5 or 3 almost going along the creek bed.
And I'm so glad you didn't get stabbed. Like, you could have been mugged, man.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, that was not the smartest choice. I guess that was a bit of some kind of privilege on my part. I'm a big burly looking dude. I feel like a lot of people assume I can fight, even though I can't.
By the way,
I get left alone a lot of times.
So, for those of you listening who have no idea what Phil looks like, let's just say he looks like he's a hockey fan. Like, yep. that is the most accurate way to describe him. Look, and there's nothing wrong with that. You look like what you look like, you know what I mean? Like, in this lighting, I look like, you know what? We're going to skip that one. We're just going to cut that joke out completely. That joke was going nowhere good. I was like, nope. I was going to get canceled for that one.
Nope.
So, all right. So, okay. So you made it home. You made it safe. What happened when did you get to keep the hubcaps?
No, they took them from me because, like I said, they assumed they were stolen. So they confiscated them, and they're like, when someone calls in and reports it, we're coming to get you. It's like, okay, I don't think that's happening, but go ahead.
What did your roommate say when you got home?
I told him all about this, and he was just like, what? A lot of questions you had. Why would you take hubcaps? Especially not very nice ones.
Right.
He's like, why didn't you come back when everyone else did? And I was like, I don't know. I was drunk and just didn't see people leaving, I guess. Yeah, we kept the party going once I got back, except I didn't have anything to drink because I poured out my Dr. Bob. But I think some people hooked me up, helped me out there.
The fact that you could party after a police encounter just lets me know how precious you are. I feel like that would have been it for my night. I was like, all right, guys, I'm done. I just need to be done with today altogether.
I'm out of here.
Yeah. I couldn't do it. All right, Phil. Why don't you, the stage is yours again. Go ahead and retell us your story.
All right. So I'm going to Fredonia still. All of that's going to be the same. It's Halloween night. I'm dressed as Andrew WK. I'm having a house party, and people are just like looking at me thinking I'm the coolest looking person ever. Like, I'm wearing sunglasses inside, but it works level cool. I'm just absolutely sinking shot after shot on the beer pong table. I'm just destroying all comers. And eventually we decide to go downtown, and people are just so in awe of me. They carry me down to the bar on their shoulders.
Okay.
When I get to the bar, it's more of the same, basically. Everyone's just like, wow, what a cool guy. everyone just starts buying me drinks. So I get to keep partying, but I end up ditching the Dr. Bob. And yeah, then everyone at the bar is just hanging out with me. We're having a great time. I still end up alone towards the end of the night there. I end up walking down the creek again.
Oh, God.
I happen to cross these hubcaps, but they look just pristine and like diamond encrusted.
Okay.
And
now you really want to go to jail.
Even be gold.
Say that last part again, I'm sorry?
Might have even been made of gold. I'm not sure.
Right. Okay. Okay. The more you describe this, the more I see you in an orange jumpsuit. Like, that is exactly what I'm envisioning here.
Well, we'll see, because as I'm walking up, I do get spotted by police officers and get pulled over. Mm-hmm. However, the more chill officer comes up first and kind of disarms everyone. We're doing incredible bits back and forth, so much so that the other officers on the scene decide that I'm pretty much the coolest person they've ever met, and they're not going to bother me at all.
Right.
In fact, they want to start hanging out. And it turns into a bit of a super bad situation where I'm going out joyriding with the police and decide to have some fun, and I start car surfing on top of one of their cars while they tape me doing that.
Okay.
So they record me doing my awesome car surfing, dressed as Andrew WK. This goes online, goes viral, and Andrew WK sees it. And because of that, he's just moved that he has to play Fred Fest, and he has to come meet this amazing impersonator. So he does play Fred Fest. And during Fred Fest, I jump on stage and sing along, and he's so impressed, he hires me to be the party starter for his band.
Oh, my God.
As the party starter, I jump into the crowd, start jumping around, get everyone pumped up and going. And it pays pretty well, but my income is also bolstered by these amazing hubcaps I found, which sell for enough to pay off all my student loans. You know, condo paid for, no car payment, that kind of thing.
So, by the way, I just want y'all to note that he has the option of making this up, but he settled for a condo and not a mansion. This man is humble. I just want y'all to know that this man is humble.
Hey, I'm just quoting some Biggie here. Come on.
Also, Phil definitely listens to more Biggie than me.
If the condo's good enough for him, it's good enough for me.
That's fair. Okay. You know what? I can't knock it.
So I tour with Andrew WK as the party starter for a good while. I have my fun, and when I decide to settle down, I have a little nest egg built up. I start my own podcast network, and I find this wonderful show named the Revisionary Podcast.
Right.
And I bring it on board, just absolutely explodes, and we're both making millions every year, just touring all over, doing the podcast. And I think that's how it would have gone if things had just changed a little differently. Right.
You know, and I totally get that. You know, it's a shame that we didn't find these diamond encrusted hubcaps.
I know, right?
Would have changed our entire outfit. All right. This was a wild story. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't know where this was going, left or right. You kept me on my toes. Normally, okay. So here's the thing. I'm an awful person to watch movies with or TV shows with, because I'm the person who can kind of see the ending coming, and I can predict who did what and where because I can see the arcs. And I could not do that with this story. The entire time I'm like, where is he going with this? And at no point did I see any of the things that he said coming next. Well, I guess I could have seen the cops coming. Like, I kind of foresaw the cops, but everything else, I didn't. I was like, okay, where's this going? Why are we here? Okay, no, these are the decisions he's made.
This is how his brain works, I guess. It's interesting.
Yeah, no, it's certainly a brain. It's certainly a brain.
It's one that you can say that.
All right, Phil. So, all right, this is actually weird to do. Hold on. Let's appreciate this moment for a second here. We have two traditions on this podcast. At the end of every episode, we like to select a charity or an organization to highlight. Do you have a charity or an organization for us?
I do have a charity. So since September is National Suicide Prevention Month, I'd like to have the revisionaries check out the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. I'm sure probably most of us know or can kind of guess what they do, but the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is a national network of local crisis centers that provides free and confidential emotional support to people in suicidal crisis or emotional distress 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This is kind of near and dear to me. I have lost a friend to suicide, sadly, and I just think whatever we can do to prevent this from happening, it's whatever people are going through, it's just a temporary thing. And I think if we can donate, make sure that the Lifeline has all the resources they need, can save a lot of people.
Yeah, no, I think it's an important, I think it's a very important cause. I too have lost people to suicide, and it's very hard because, I don't know how you felt, but it left me with a lot of regret, feeling like, oh, why didn't I see this, So I do think that this is an important cause, and I hope you guys all really come out in full force, because we can save a life, by supporting this organization.
Yeah, exactly. It's, and any loss is sad, but there's just something a little different when you lose someone to suicide. It's like you said, just everyone's going through their mind, like, what could I have done different? And that there's nothing you could have done, but you still feel like you could. So if anything, just maybe a little donation, or if you've got spare time, you can also volunteer at a crisis center as well.
Well said. Well said. So this was the part that I feel was a little weird. Normally, I like to catch my guest off guard and ask them to share a quick childhood story. Problem is that Phil, produces this show, so he's heard every episode, so there was no sneaking this past him. So, instead, ooh, curveball, huh? Instead, what I want to know is, I want you to share, like, the most absurd, like, memory association thing. You know what I mean? Like, how, like, certain people, they smell a scent and it brings them back to a moment, or they taste a food and it brings them back to a moment. What's something, like, a weird memory association that you have?
Oh, that's a tough one. See, that's how you got me. I was like, okay, I think I know what childhood story I'm going with. I'm going to cheat the system here.
Yeah. Nope. Come on now.
I don't know if I really have a weird one.
Okay.
I think probably the most prevalent one that comes to mind is like just kind of like the smell of iron. Reminds me of my grandfather, because he had I don't know how you describe it. It's like an old World War I. It's called a trench knife. It's like a knife with like basically brass knuckles on it. It's a pretty gruesome looking weapon. But I remember him showing me that, and that smell just kind of brings me back to hanging out with him and my grandma.
See? I still got an adorable story out of him. I still got him off guard. Let's go. No, but I still want to hear this childhood story. Let's see what you got.
All right. So I a little liberal with childhood. Teenagers are children.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Right?
Yeah, no, that counts.
So I'd say probably when I was about 14, I was having a sleepover at my friend's house. We'll call him Dr. Bob.
Sure.
So I was over at Dr. Bob's house, and Dr. Bob's dad is a mechanic. So he would always have all these random cars in their driveway. So one night, Dr. Bob, I, and another buddy, in the middle of a blizzard, mind you, snuck out and took one of the cars for a joyride. And we drove around the block for a while, and again, this is during a blizzard. We could not figure out how to turn on the wipers.
Okay.
So we just were leaning out the window, just kind of like swiping with our hands to try and see. Mm-hmm. And we didn't really even do anything. We just drove around a couple of back roads and just went back home and never told anyone about it.
So just now, when he tells all 30,000 of you guys.
Until Dr. Bob is outed now.
Right. So apparently this is what happens when you grow up in a suburban or rural area. You guys have to make your own fun, and Phil was making his fun by using his hand as a windshield wiper.
Oh yeah. That's what we call a good time out in the country.
You hear how he said in the country. All right.
In the country.
All right, Phil, I want to say thank you so much for coming on, and I think it's been wonderful to finally get you in front of a mic instead of behind one. Is that how that works? No, in front. Are you in front? I don't know.
Juan Carlos, if you're in front of the mic and not behind it, they won't hear you.
You guys knew what I meant, all right? I don't do the word stuff. You know what? This is his area. I'm done. All right. No, but thank you so much for joining us. As on the Revisionary Podcast instead of editing and producing the Revisionary Podcast. Because as I tell people all the time, you are an integral member of this team, and this podcast honestly would not have been able to do the things that it has done or sound as good as it does without you and all of your contributions.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Just a little making me blush at the end here.
So, before I let you go, do you have any last words for the Revisionaries?
Revisionaries, just remember to always party hard. No matter what's going on in life, if you party hard, you're going to be just fine.
Normally, I would now follow up by asking where they can follow you, but I'm going to leave that up to you whether you want to be followed or not.
Yeah, sure. I'm not super active on social media. I'd say Instagram's your best bet, and I'm at Phil Bowen with 2 L's. Phill. Bowen.
Hold on, have I been spelling your name wrong this entire time?
Have you?
Oh my god, I never realized till just now that there's 2 L's. Whoops.
The king of observation.
Clearly. Well, we've learned something new today. Wow. All right. Thank you so much for joining us on the podcast, Phil. Take care.
Of course. Bye.
The Revisionary Podcast.
Okay. So here's the deal, Revisionaries. Between you and I, you guys aren't allowed to like Phil better than me. That's just a personal thing. Like, he's already better than me at editing. I don't need you guys to like his storytelling ability and go, you know what? That producer Phil guy has a good voice. Maybe we should hear more of him and less of you. No, we don't need that. That's not what we need, Revisionaries. We need Phil to keep doing his magic and, me to stay employed, all right? That's the goal here, all right? So let's that. Also, Party King, huh? I guess I'm gonna have to look this guy up. Now he set a bar, and like, I don't know what this guy does, but if it's leading to stolen hubcaps, then it's a pretty high bar for me. I want to understand what this quote unquote Party King is and how cool he actually is. So I'm excited for that. Also, I'd like to say that, Phil makes me believe that he was cool as a cucumber, because I don't know that I would have handled an interaction with the police like that, especially if I had hubcaps that may or may not have been stolen on me. But, that's a story for a completely separate day. And honestly, I'm just going to leave it here and say to all the revisionaries out there, thank you for listening.
This is the